Beneath a quiet Chinese pond, workers found rooms the size of cathedrals, carved by human hands over 2,000 years ago. The air was cool and damp, the walls were perfectly smooth, and no one had any idea they were there. Imagine opening a door in your basement and finding a hidden mansion beneath it. That is essentially what happened in Longyou, Zhejiang province in 1992, except the mansion was carved from solid bedrock, and it was over 2,000 years old. The Longyou Caves, known locally as Xian Beike, meaning rock caves at the stone cliff, are so vast that engineers still struggle to explain their construction. No blueprints survive, no tools were found inside, no historical text from any dynasty mentions their existence. Thousands of workers would have been needed to create this place. The logistics would have rivaled building a small city, and yet history recorded nothing. But the real question is not what they found beneath that pond. It is who built it and why they needed the world to forget it existed. To understand why Longyou matters, you need to understand the world it was born into. China in the 3rd century BCE was a place of extraordinary violence and extraordinary ambition. The Warring States period, roughly 475 to 221 BCE, was exactly what its name suggests. 7 rival kingdoms tore China apart. For 2.5 centuries, millions died, cities burned, borders shifted like sand. Then, in 221 BCE, a king named Yingzheng unified China by force. He renamed himself Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor. His ambition was absolute. He standardized weights, measurements, currency, and written language across a continent. He began the Great Wall. Zhejiang province, where Longyou sits, was part of the newly conquered territory. It had been the kingdom of Yue, proud, independent, and recently crushed. The Qin Empire needed to consolidate control here quickly. Some researchers believe that urgency shaped everything that followed. This was a world of colossal state-organized labor. The first emperor commanded hundreds of thousands of workers simultaneously. He built his own tomb, a buried palace guarded by the famous terracotta army, while simultaneously constructing canals, roads, and defensive walls. Large, hidden projects were not unusual for the Qin state. They were the norm. In June of 1992, a farmer named Wu Anai decided to drain a pond near his home in Longyou County. The pond had always been there. His neighbors had always assumed it was simply deep. Wu used a pump. He ran it for 17 days. Think about that. 17 days of continuous pumping to empty a single pond. The water level dropped slowly at first, then faster. And then, instead of hitting a muddy bottom, the water revealed something else entirely. Stone steps, then stone walls, then a ceiling that soared upward like the nave of a Gothic cathedral, that central hall in a great church where the roof seems almost too high to be real. Wu descended into the darkness. What he found took his breath away. The chamber was enormous. The walls were smooth and decorated with precise repeating patterns of diagonal lines. Stone pillars rose from the floor to support the ceiling. Fish, horses, and other animals had been carved into the rock. This was not a natural cave. Every centimeter had been shaped by human hands. Wu told his neighbors. They drained their ponds too. Beneath 5 separate ponds, they found 5 separate caves. Each one was different in size. Each one was connected to the others. And not one of them appeared on any map, in any archive, or in any text ever written about this region. Let us set aside the theories for a moment. Let us look at what the evidence actually tells us. The cold, measurable facts that no one disputes. There are at least 24 discovered caves at Longyou. The largest single chamber covers an area of roughly 1,200 square meters, about the size of 3 Olympic swimming pools laid side by side. The ceilings in the larger chambers reach approximately 30 meters in height. The total excavated volume of rock removed across all known caves is estimated at around 1 million cubic meters. 1 million cubic meters of solid rock, moved by hand tools with no machinery. That is the equivalent of filling 400 Olympic swimming pools with solid stone, not water. The chisel marks cover every surface: walls, ceilings, pillars, and floors in identical diagonal parallel patterns, spaced roughly 2 centimeters apart. Archaeologists describe this as a fish-scale design. It is remarkably consistent throughout all 24 caves, suggesting either a single coordinated workforce or a rigidly enforced standard. Carbon dating of organic material found in the caves places their construction at approximately 2,000 years ago. Consistent with the late Qin or early Han Dynasty period, between roughly 250 BCE and 100 BCE. The stone has been identified as the local siltstone of the Zhejiang region, meaning the rock was not transported. It was carved away from where it already stood. When archaeologists first studied the Longyou caves, the most immediate explanation seemed straightforward. These were quarry caves, places where workers systematically removed siltstone for use in construction projects elsewhere. The quarry theory makes a reasonable amount of sense. The Qin Dynasty was the greatest builder in Chinese history. The first emperor needed stone for roads, walls, palaces, and tombs on a scale never seen before. What better source than local rock, systematically carved out from underground? Think of it like a modern strip mine working in reverse. Instead of digging down from the surface, workers carved inward from the sides of hills, leaving pillars of stone standing like tree trunks to hold the ceiling up. This technique is called room and pillar mining. Engineers still use a version of it today. Several Chinese geologists and archaeologists supported this interpretation in the 1990s. The evidence seemed to fit. The siltstone at Longyou is soft enough to carve relatively easily. The diagonal chisel patterns could represent a systematic removal method. The pillars left standing would have been the natural result of working from below. And the scale, while staggering, was not unprecedented. The Qin state mobilized workforce numbers that modern historians still find difficult to fully comprehend. Some estimates suggest the first emperor commanded over 700,000 laborers for his own tomb complex alone. Against that context, 1 million cubic meters of carved rock seems almost plausible. But there was one detail that didn't fit. Actually, there were several. If these were quarry caves, functional extraction sites, why are they beautiful? Quarries are not decorated. They are not finished. They are not refined. Yet every surface at Longyou, including the stone pillars, carries that precise, uniform chisel pattern. Someone cared deeply about how this place looked. That is not the behavior of workers stripping stone for use elsewhere. The layout also resists the quarry explanation. Quarries follow the path of usable material. They are irregular, opportunistic, shaped by where the good stone is. But the Longyou caves follow a deliberate architectural logic. The chambers have consistent ceiling heights. The pillars are positioned symmetrically. The entrances align with specific compass orientations. Then there are the carvings themselves. Fish, horses, geometric designs. These are not the marks of workers extracting stone. These are the marks of people who intended to inhabit this space, or at least to make it meaningful. Quarry workers do not decorate the walls. And here is perhaps the most troubling detail of all. In a genuine quarry, you would expect to see evidence of where the stone was removed. Rough patches, incomplete cuts, abandoned tool marks. Instead, the Longyou caves look finished. Every surface has been worked to the same standard. This place was not stripped for parts. It was built for something. The question is what? And this is where the mystery deepens. Because when researchers began looking more carefully at the Longyou caves, they found details that no existing theory had prepared them for. The walls of the caves are not vertical. They lean outward at a consistent angle of approximately 45 degrees as they rise. This is not a structural accident. Engineers recognize this as a deliberate design choice, a technique that distributes the weight of the ceiling more efficiently across the base. It is the same principle used in modern dam construction. Someone at Longyou understood structural engineering at a sophisticated level. The pillar placement follows a mathematical spacing. Researchers measured the distance between pillars across multiple chambers and found a consistent ratio. The distance between pillars corresponds proportionally to the ceiling height. This is the same principle architects use when designing columns for large buildings today. You need the right column spacing to prevent the roof from collapsing. Someone at Longyou calculated that ratio correctly 2,000 years ago. There are also water management features. Channels carved into the floors direct water toward the entrances. Certain chambers sit at slightly higher elevations than others, creating a gravity-fed drainage system. This is not accidental geology. This is planned hydraulic engineering, the ancient science of controlling water flow. No one has been able to explain what happened next in the investigation. Because when archaeologists began searching regional archives, every provincial record, every dynastic history, every local chronicle they could find, they came back with nothing. Not a single written reference to Longyou's caves existed anywhere in the historical record. The absence of written records is not by itself unusual for ancient China. Many things went unrecorded, but the Longyou caves are not a small thing. They are not a village well or a forgotten road. What researchers found next changed everything about how we understand this mystery. In 2001, a team of Japanese engineers from Waseda University traveled to Longyou to conduct a full structural survey. They brought modern equipment, laser scanners, ground-penetrating radar, precision levels. What their instruments revealed was staggering. The known 24 caves are not the complete picture. The ground-penetrating radar, a tool that bounces radio waves through rock to detect hollow spaces like an X-ray for the Earth, revealed additional void spaces beneath and beyond the known chambers. The cave system is larger than anyone had previously understood, significantly larger. The full extent has still not been determined, but the Waseda team's most significant finding was structural. They calculated that to prevent catastrophic collapse during construction, before the pillars were fully shaped and the ceiling was fully formed, the builders would have needed a precise, pre-planned architectural blueprint. You cannot carve a 30-meter ceiling from below without knowing, in advance, exactly where to leave the pillars. Improvisation would have brought the mountain down on the workers. This is the revelation that reframes everything. The Longyou caves were not carved by trial and error. They were not a quarry that grew accidentally large. They required architectural plans drawn up before a single chisel struck stone. Someone designed this entire underground world on paper, or on silk, or on wood, before it was built. And those plans have never been found. Today, researchers are divided into several distinct camps. Each theory carries genuine weight. Each one also carries unresolved problems. The evidence points in two completely different directions, and sometimes three. The first theory holds that the caves were a state-organized military project of the Qin Dynasty. Some researchers believe the first emperor ordered the construction of a vast underground storage and garrison complex, a hidden military base in newly conquered Yue territory. The secrecy would explain the absence of records. State secrets were state secrets. Workers who knew too much were sometimes silenced permanently. The second theory focuses on ritual and cosmology. Some archaeologists argue the caves served a ceremonial function, perhaps connected to ancestor veneration or to the religious practices of the pre-Qin Yue culture. The carved animals, the deliberate orientations of the entrances, and the careful finishing of every surface suggest a space meant for reverence, not storage. Think of it like a cathedral built underground. Its grandeur was not for practical use, but for spiritual impact. The third theory is perhaps the most intriguing and the most controversial. Some researchers suggest the caves were constructed by the people of the ancient Yue kingdom before the Qin conquest, a massive community refuge built in secret designed to hide an entire population from invaders. The fish carvings, researchers note, are a known symbol of the Yue people. The deliberate concealment beneath water would have been the perfect camouflage. Each theory explains some of the evidence. None of them explains all of it. The academic world has not reached consensus on Longyou. That is worth saying plainly. This is an active, unresolved debate among serious researchers with serious credentials. Chinese archaeologist Liu Jiangwei, one of the earliest systematic researchers of the site, argued that the caves were likely constructed during the Qin or early Han Dynasty based on the ceramic fragments found near the entrances. These fragments, pieces of ancient pottery, matched styles common to that period, roughly 200 to 100 BCE. However, Liu acknowledged that the ceramic evidence only dates activity near the caves, not the caves themselves. Japanese researchers from the Waseda University team, led by structural engineer Tadahiko Nagase, focused on the engineering rather than the artifacts. Nagase concluded in 2003 that the construction required a level of organizational planning equivalent to a major imperial infrastructure project. His team estimated a minimum workforce of 1,000 skilled stone carvers working continuously for several years. 1,000 skilled carvers for years, generating enormous amounts of rock debris. That debris, the 1 million cubic meters of removed stone, has never been found in the surrounding landscape. You cannot hide that much material. It would have been used somewhere or deposited somewhere visible, and yet no archaeological survey has located it. That missing debris is, according to several researchers including geologist Xu Xinmin of Zhejiang University, one of the most genuinely puzzling physical facts about Longyou. 1 million cubic meters of stone does not simply disappear. Where it went remains, as of today, completely unexplained. After weighing all the evidence, the structural engineering, the decorative finishing, the missing records, the missing debris, the carved symbols, the water management features, one interpretation emerges as the most consistent with the full body of facts. The Longyou caves were almost certainly a deliberately concealed, state-level construction project, most likely built during the reign of the first emperor of Qin or in the immediate decades following his death in 210 BCE. The scale, the engineering sophistication, and the organizational discipline required all point to a project backed by imperial authority. This was not a local initiative. The strategic location of Longyou matters enormously here. The site sits at a natural crossroads, near the Qityou River, accessible to military supply routes, positioned in formerly hostile Yue territory. Some researchers believe the caves served as a combined military garrison, supply depot, and emergency refuge. The deliberate flooding, filling the caves with water to conceal them, was the security system. Like hiding a safe behind a painting. The pond was the lock, and the cave was the vault. The answer had been hiding in plain sight for centuries. The ponds themselves were the evidence. Artificial flooding of underground spaces requires ongoing maintenance. Someone maintained those ponds deliberately for generations, perhaps long after the original builders were gone, perhaps by communities who knew what lay beneath but were bound by tradition or fear to keep the secret. This theory does not answer every question. It does not explain where the debris went, it does not fully account for the Yue cultural symbols in the carvings, and it does not resolve why not a single imperial record references a project of this magnitude. Those gaps remain genuinely open. But they are gaps in a coherent story, not a story without a foundation. The Longyou caves have now been open to visitors for over 30 years. Tourists walk through chambers their ancestors never knew existed. Researchers continue to study the walls, the angles, the carvings, and the mystery has not shrunk. If anything, it has grown. Consider what this place represents: a civilization capable of designing and executing an underground architectural project of cathedral proportions without leaving a single written word about it. In a culture that recorded everything from tax receipts to astronomical observations, the silence around Longyou is not an accident. It is a decision. Someone chose for this place to disappear from history. That choice was executed so completely, across so many generations, that even the people who lived above it eventually forgot what lay beneath their feet. The caves were rediscovered not by scholars searching for them. They were found by a farmer with a pump and a curious mind. What future discovery could finally solve this mystery? Ground-penetrating radar surveys of the full valley floor have been proposed but never fully funded. Researchers believe additional chambers, possibly including a central administrative space or a sealed inner chamber, may still lie undiscovered. If such a space exists, it might contain artifacts, inscriptions, or even tools that could finally answer the question of who built this place and why they built it to be forgotten. 2,000 years of silence, one farmer, 24 impossible rooms. Every mystery has something buried beneath it. The Longyou Caves' buried enigma is that a civilization capable of engineering an underground world the size of a city chose, deliberately and completely, to erase every trace that it had ever done so.